Is the 23 News Update at 10.
Family and friends gather at 10th Avenue Park to remember a man they called Marmar, who say Rockford man Lamar Bell died following a traffic stop Sunday night by Illinois State Police.
23 News reporter Jake Pearson was at the memorial where he says dozens of teary-eyed faces filled the park in honor of Bell.
Loved ones who knew Bell came to 10th Avenue Park with posters and signs. Some had pictures and happy memories, and some asked for justice following his death.
My dad was a cool dude. Everybody loved him.
A crowd forms at 10th Avenue Park Tuesday night in honor of a Rockford man who died Monday. Lamar Bell was a friend to many and a father to Tajir Ran.
Laid back, chill, funny,
humble. He was always happy.
Life of the party.
You always seen him smile.
You don't know he around. You just know he'll make sure he knows.
The gathering was near 10th Avenue and Kishwaukee Street. That's where Illinois State Police say troopers conducted a traffic stop Sunday night when the man who was pulled over requested an ambulance. He was taken to the hospital where he died on Monday. Investigators have not identified the man who died, but friends and family of Lamar Bell say it was him.
He was very loved. I'm surprised it ain't more. But you know the night's not over with. The whole block will be filled before you know it.
Some at the memorial held signs demanding justice, and some posts on social media claimed there was more to the story surrounding Lamar Bell's death.
They don't know who they killed. Everybody knows him, so of course we're gonna be out here until justice is served.
Rockford police released a statement on Twitter saying, "We have been made aware of inaccurate information being posted on social media regarding the death of Lamar Bell. RPD had no involvement in this incident." The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office tells 23 News that they were not involved in any way with the traffic stop. Illinois State Police say they will not be making any more comments before seeing results of an autopsy scheduled for Wednesday.
Now, there was a candlelight vigil and balloons released Tuesday night at 10th Avenue Park. Rand says on his Facebook page that there will be a protest tomorrow morning, but the location and the time has not yet been confirmed.